Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and we are now in April, baby. Today is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. Um, I've always heard it said that it's best to plant here in the southeast of the United States after Easter or Good Friday. It's supposed to be the prime time to plant some things because they say that if you're going to have a cold snap, generally speaking, from the Farmer's Almanac, it's going to be around Easter. And that's pretty much true. I've got a friend of mine who's a big time farmer, and he talks about how he says, I've been a farmer my whole life, and I see myself as kind of a religious guy, but I really think there's something uh, very evil about the Farmer's Almanac because it is creepily, perfectly, always right. And he's like, of course I'm kidding. He goes, but man, he goes, it is uncanny how much they can predict the weather so far out. And there may be some truth to that. Maybe there's a lot of science along with that. I would imagine that it would be in some farmers' best interest to pay attention to weather patterns and the probability of weather changes and that sort of things so that they have the most optimal crop that they could have. Um, the idea that farmers are dummies, I hope people don't think that way, but I don't know. For people who live in cities, maybe they look at farmers as, backwoods, know nothing country folk that just, oh, they just like playing in the dirt. Okay. Yeah, it's all fun and games until you're hungry and you don't have any food. So, yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some fun things that are going on around the world. Because this is the Stuff I Heard podcast, and I like to talk about just about anything. So, just quickly, I'm going to, in my search, type in farmer, farmers revolt, or how about farmers political um, party in the Netherlands? Yeah, that's it. I'm sure some people have heard about this. The farmer citizen movement. Okay, this this was quite interesting. Um, how did this start? I wonder how this started. I don't even know how it started. So the Dutch farmers, thousands of Dutch farmers protested in the Hague, Hague, on Saturday against the Dutch government's plans to cut nitrate emissions. They were basically saying that the government was going to confiscate like 3,000 acres or 300,000 acres, something ridiculous, of their land and tell them that they could not grow food because it was going to be detrimental to the environment. So they were basically saying that they were going to do this so that they could somehow control the narrative of, oh, no, no, we're doing this because we care about the environment. Okay, and what about food? So the People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, VVD, a conservative liberal party, um, apparently made up of farmers, decided that they were going to, yeah, it says it's going to shut down almost 3,000 farms to meet a tough EU greenhouse emissions target. They were going to basically confiscate 3,000 Dutch farms. And so the farmers protested. I saw on all sorts of, TikToks and YouTube videos of these Dutch farmers that basically drove their tractors out into public and blocked up all the traffic and just parked their tractors everywhere. They formed their own party and they ran for elections and they won every single one of them. Um, really huge, really huge. I'm trying to find the name of the lady. Anyway, it shows an example of how politics can be done the right way, how you can affect change the right way. To me, it was sort of an eye-opening event where you can go, "Oh, look, they decided they wanted to change things, and they did." Um, Farmers Protest Party wins shock Dutch vote victory. Trying to find the woman's name who ended up winning, but everything has pop-ups. Goodness gracious, it's hard to read anything on the internet without pop-ups. Normal citizens voted in normal citizens, it says. Um, They're they are all the votes counted. They are due to win 15 of the Senate seats with 20% of the vote left. Yeah. So they're going to win most of the seats that are in their political party. Almost 60% of their people voted for this. This is incredible. This is really incredible. Um, do your own research on this. Go check it out. Dutch politics, Dutch farmers. There's these videos of tractors, agricultural tractors blocking the roadways and stuff. Um, I don't know why it won't tell me this woman's name that I'm looking at her. There it is. Caroline Vanderplas ended up being the biggest winner in this scenario. She's the head of this union now, this group, this political party. Um, Basically the farmers were like, "You're not taking our land? Are you kidding me? Like we're making food for you. Why would you take everything?" Yeah. So that's going on. There's also political protests in China going on right now. There's political protests going on in France. There's a big thing here in the United States where they're talking about taking away TikTok as being illegal for us to use, claiming that Chinese people are, the Chinese governments have control of it, which they don't. There's a single individual who's the owner of TikTok. And I mean, he runs TikTok. He's not the individual owner, but anyway, I mean, he started TikTok. He's the head of TikTok. And he just happens to be from Singapore originally, but he's a U.S. citizen. He went to Stanford University. Very articulate guy. They brought him in front of Congress, and they basically wanted to know how the internet worked. Like if you watch videos of their congressional hearings, it was basically them not allowing him to talk, but then asking him questions about how the internet works with their devices. Um, it's the dumbest people that you could imagine asking questions. The funny part is they don't understand how algorithms work. So they were asking about specific things that every time I open TikTok, this is what I see. That's how algorithms work. If you look at things often, that's the thing you're going to see the most. If you type it in, if you hit likes, it's going to lean more towards the things that you're into. That's an algorithm. That's how all social media works. That's how the entire internet works. It was very disturbing to hear what some of the people are clickable, what their thing is, what their passions were, if you will. So yeah, pretty eye opening. Um, I hope that the people who are trying to ban TikTok are singled out and noticed, and that everybody listening or is aware of what's going on with this lawsuit. It not only affects TikTok, it affects all of your online activity together. They're basically trying to take control of anything that has any type of momentum behind it online. They want to police you on what you can see. They want to be able to track everything that you click, everything that you type, and they want to be able to block you from anything they don't think is necessarily important for you to see or within their realm of ideas of what you're allowed to see, which is totally against freedom. It's totally against the idea of the internet. It's totally against your personal freedoms as an individual being um, able to do whatever you would deem that is a freedom act within your own personal home or with your own personal devices. They also want to ban VPNs. VPNs are for your protection so that you can't be hacked. It's a way for you to access information and content from anywhere around the world at any place without being hacked. I have a friend who is a security person, an internet security person, and he says that the number one thing he recommends people get is a VPN to protect your privacy. And Congress is trying to make it illegal. So, do you enjoy using the internet? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Do you enjoy watching things on YouTube? Do you enjoy being able to click on whatever you want to be able to research it or look it up? Well, Congress is trying to take all of that away right now, and they don't understand how the internet works. The people who are asking questions are literally asking how it connects to their Wi-Fi and what does that mean? I mean, come on, seriously? We got the dumbest people elected to have the voice in this? How is that even a possibility? Oh, goodness gracious. For every step we take forward, there's so many steps backwards. But let's not talk about that. I just want to put that out there so that if anybody out there that's connected anyway to any of these people, please hit them with a brick in the head and tell them they're dumb repeatedly. Obviously, I'm just kidding about the violence part, but let them know how the internet works and that the people have the vote. And if we have to, we will assemble and we will change. And up to now, I keep saying that no one does it. No one seems to be like, I'll do it. I'll try. Why? Because our political system is so corrupt, and we know that there's a two-party system, and that if you're not in their club, you're not going to get any of the votes. That's been proven time and time again. Um, I mean, why else did Tulsi Gabbard drop out of politics and just decide to be on TV? Because she's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I try to do. It doesn't matter what I try and help with the people because no one's listening. No one's paying attention. They're all distracted. I mean, we have a president right now who can't even form sentences together, and yet political moves are being made right and left in his name and saying, oh, Biden says this, Biden says that. Does he? Does he even know where he is? Does he know what day it is? Does he know what time it is? Does he know that he has pants on? And yet there's a whole religion of people who think that Trump's going to be the answer, and he's not. None of them are. There is no answer, okay? It is done collectively by us. We make the change. We do the things that make it so that the world becomes a better place. It is not as simple as having one person going, guys, listen, I know how to fix this. Okay, first of all, your instinct should be to go, no, you don't. Your instinct should be that. Everyone's instinct should be that. Anyone who claims to have all the answers has none of the answers. They just want the power. They want you to give them the power. Meanwhile, they get to tax you whatever they want. They get to spend whatever they want. They go unchecked spending our money, our tax money. The defense budget is out of control. We have school shootings right and left that no one seems to even care about in the government. They want to focus it on a distracted argument of Second Amendment rights. Meanwhile, they just took away women's rights to vote, or not vote, women's rights to have an abortion or not. They just took them away. It's like, now you don't even get a choice. You don't even get a say in your own body. We get to dictate what happens. They've gone a step further now, and companies now are backing transgender people to have popularity and sponsorship as influencers because they deem them as valuable. Okay. Not that people aren't valuable in general, but meanwhile, you've got an MMA fight that's got national attention now because a transgender man trying to convert into woman fought a biological woman and crushed her skull and knocked her out in 39 seconds. Crushed her skull, threw her like a rag doll, beat her with his knee into her in her face, and brutalized her. And they're going, oh no, they're the same athlete. No, they're not. No, they're not. Rogan's been saying this for a long time. When you take a biological male and you face them off as a competitor against a biological female, that male is built differently. Okay, they're built differently. I get it. You can be whatever you want to be, but have the playing field be even. You can't have a person who's a man who puts on a dress and you go, Woman of the Year. You're taking away the power of the women. You're basically telling women they have no value. This is the exact thing that women have been talking about for years about how their voice has been taken away. Their right to vote was only given to them in the 60s. I mean, come on. They we we don't have a female president yet. Why not? Why? What are men afraid of? That someone's going to do a good job? That it's not the status quo? That's not the way they done it in my day. Okay, grow up. Grow up. This is 2023. Right now we have the internet. I mean, we may not in another year or two because Congress may decide to take that away from us. But right now we have the internet and we can research things. We can find information. We can share information. I have a podcast in Florence, South Carolina that I don't know, a few people listen to. That could be taken away. Not even by my choice. Just taken away. Just because Congress is like, nah, too many people are listening. Let's shut it down. What would happen? What would happen if someone like Rogan was not allowed to share his podcast? Now, these aren't his opinions that he's putting out there. This is just he's interviewing smart people. He's asking questions, the same as we all do, the same as you all want to do. We want to ask some of the smartest people in the world questions. We also want to have a good time. Once in a while, he has some comedian friends and they just BS around. So there's knowledge with a little bit of escapism. Okay. But what if Congress is like, you know what? Too many people are clicking on this. We need to shut this down. We don't need him to have a voice. I can't believe we let him talk to the people like that. He's giving them ideas. We need them dumb. We need them to just pay taxes and go to work and just be dumb. Like us. Basically, that's what Congress is saying. They want they want us to not know how the internet works, just like they don't know how the internet works. What do you mean it hooks up to my Wi-Fi? Why can't my Wi-Fi do this? What? Well, my camera can see me. What? How does that work? Why do you need to look at my face? The dumbest questions. All right. Deep breath. Let's switch gears, shall we? This is Stuff I Heard podcast, and I am Josh Peak. If you haven't, by the way, please remember to rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. If you want to be part of this conversation or have a conversation like this, join me. I'm happy to do it. I'm available most weekends. You just let me know. We'll hook this up through Zoom. You ain't even got to leave your house. Or if you want to come here, you can. Whatever. I don't care. Um, let's talk about a show I just watched on on Netflix. It came out a while back, but I just have finally got a chance to watch it. It's You People. You People. That's funny. It's funny because the term "you people" is sort of derogatory in a way, but it is a racist sort of term where it's like, well, I've always looked at you people like this. You know, I've heard stupid people say shit like that. Now, Jonah Hill is the main actor in this, and I would be willing to say that he was probably one of the yeah, he's a part he wrote the screenplay. Okay, cool. So I'm looking at Google right now because I'm reading information. Um, he's the main actor in this. The story is a new couple and their family reckon with modern love and culture clash, societal expectations, and generational differences. Okay. So he falls in love with a girl who's black, and her daddy is played by Eddie Murphy. Hilarious. Nia Long plays her mom. Um, it's really fantastic. His mom is played by Julia Lee Dreyfus, Louis Dreyfus, and David Duchovny plays his dad. And listen, he's supposed to be like a kid who's trying to figure out what he's doing in his life, and he's got a podcast with a woman, and he's also a finance guy, and he's supposed to be a Jewish kid living in the I guess it's L.A. I don't really pay attention to whether it was L.A. or New York. It's a big city, and he meets this woman just by weird happenstance. Thought she was the Uber driver. She looks just like the person on the app, and she, oh my god, get out of my car! You know, it's a funny meet cute situation that's only modern for this time. I mean, it's something that could only happen nowadays. Okay, but they hit it off, and they have a conversation, and they have dinner, and then they start a relationship, and before you know it, they're falling in love. And he has to meet her family, and she has to meet his, and it's very funny because it's very realistic on how a lot of people get insulated by an echo chamber of society and an echo chamber of things that only they know that are particular to them. And when something new comes into their life, they either don't want any part of it and try to push it away, or they cultivate it and try to curate it as though it's alien and useful to them to seem cool. That's both avenues of where their parents go. And it's very interesting to watch how their love basically is it's the Romeo and Juliet story. They can't be together because their families can't get along, but they love each other. And it's a great story. It's a great movie. Listen, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 41%. I'd be willing to say if I'm going confused breakfast style rating, I'm giving this show an 8.2. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I liked it. There's lots of comedians in it that play background characters. It's pretty funny that I'm seeing a lot of comedians now become actors, but they're really good at playing these characters. They're really good actors. Okay. Jonah Hill right now I think is doing some of his best work. I have loved him as a actor and as a writer and a director. Um, but at this stage in his life, I think he's comfortable being vulnerable in a way that makes it relatable to the modern viewer. So I'm liking what he's doing. I like the fact that Eddie Murphy was in this. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Eddie Murphy, um, dip his toes into the acting world. He took a lot of time off for his family, but yeah, this is great. This is fun to watch. So I highly recommend checking out You People on Netflix. All right. Now, here's another show that I really enjoyed. I knew I was going to like this before I even saw what it was about, just because Ali Wong was involved. For those of you who don't know, Ali Wong is a stand-up comedian, an actress, producer, director. She's doing a little bit of everything. She is hitting her stride as an actress. I think of the things I've seen her act in, this is probably her best. She gets to show a huge dynamic range. Um, and this is a TV show. It's called Beef, Beef. The premise of the show is two strangers get into a road rage incident that brings chaos into their lives. Her counterpart is Stephen Ewan. He plays Danny Cho. Stephen Ewan was on The Walking Dead. Um, if you guys don't remember, that was the infamous scene where Negan basically crushes his skull with a baseball bat. It's pretty awful to see, but really good actor. Okay. David Cho's in this. I was like, as soon as I saw David Cho, I was like, hold the phone. Is that David Cho? David Cho is um, he's an artist, first and foremost. He has been on Rogan before and he talks about the art that he creates. He's a painter, um, a sculptor. There's lots of his art in this show. I am 100% sure that that is his art that is designed in the background of the intros of each episode, as well as there's various forms of his art in the background of scenes. Um, he is a very, very, very talented, very sought after artist. And the fact that he's acting in this and acting really well as kind of the bad guy in this is pretty fantastic. Joseph Lee, really good acting. A lot of good actors in this. Okay, so here's the thing is I'm watching this tremendous show about road rage that basically escalates these people's lives into chaos further and further. And it didn't dawn on me until about 5 episodes in. Oh wait, this is an Asian American show, and at no point are you thinking this is an Asian American show. This is an American show. These are Americans. This is a this is a mostly Asian cast where it doesn't matter. Like the stereotype of, oh no, we can't have a cast of just Asian people in a show be a hit. Well, yes, you can, and Netflix just did it. Thank you to Ali Wong. I'm sure that you probably championed part of this or had something to do with this, but this was fantastic. The actors in this are great. The story in it is great. The story takes a drastically weird turn towards the end. Not to give any spoilers away, but the two main characters literally almost kill each other, um, and then almost die when they become friends. So it's listen, this is probably one of the coolest shows I've seen in a while. Right now, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it deserves every bit of it. Um, I really enjoyed this. This just came out this weekend, April the 6th, and I know there's a lot of options of things to watch right now. But if you give yourself a chance to watch this, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. This is pretty exciting to watch. This and it's got everything that the American people want. It's got sex, it's got violence, it's got confrontation, lying, deceit, um, a crazy moment at the end that brings everything around in some weird way. It's just beautiful. I loved it. The episodes are only 30 minutes long. It's fantastic. I watched it all last night. Um, and then I watched the UFC. Big shout out to Stylebender. That was a pretty amazing finish last night. Holy cow. Okay, so let's talk about The Mandalorian. So The Mandalorian is on episode 6. There's 2 episodes left. I've heard that Dallas Bryce Howard did episode 6, and there were a lot of cameos in this. If you haven't seen this, I'm going to spoil it, so just skip this part. But right away, you see some celebrities. You got Jack Black and Lizzo playing these 2 very affluent people in charge of some culture that seems like they're royalty rich, richy rich. And some droids are misbehaving. So it just so happens that Bo-Katan and Din Djarin get pulled into a side quest of trying to figure out why these things are misbehaving. And in that process, they meet the head of security, which is played by Christopher Lloyd. If you don't know Christopher Lloyd, he's from Back to the Future. Great Scott! He's the scientist. So Christopher Lloyd's looking kind of older now, but that's fine. He's still a good actor, and he's fun to watch on screen because he's very charismatic. But they figure out what's going on. They arrest the bad guy, and then there's a confrontation, which is basically why I watched the show, because you have Bo-Katan coming there to find her Mandalorian brethren, the Night Owls, who she was in charge of for a long time until she lost the Darksaber, and she's going to reclaim them. She goes and she has to immediately have a one-on-one confrontation battle with the head of their group. And she says, "Will you follow me?" And he says, "How can I follow you? You don't even hold the Darksaber. You lost it to this guy." And then Jaren points out a loophole where he lost the Darksaber because he was overtaken on Mandalore by some creature, and that she defeated the creature and got the Darksaber back. So, in the terms of what they agree to, the ownership of this Darksaber belongs to, she now is the rightful owner of the Darksaber. And he says, "I need to return this to you." And he explains it to them and says, "Under your laws, isn't this correct? She is the rightful owner of this Darksaber, and she is the rightful ruler of you people. Isn't that exactly what you're saying?" And they were like, "Yes, actually, that's actually true." So now she's leading these people. I think this is all written towards this thing of her being in charge. But here's the thing: this whole episode was a side quest. The whole thing was a big side quest because it has nothing to do with the bigger picture other than the fact that she's bringing everybody together and now she holds the Darksaber, which is really cool to see her hold the Darksaber. And I saw her at a Star Wars conference thing where she was talking to the people and she said, you know, "I really wanted to like hold it above my head and go, yeah, like in the cartoons where she ends up with it and she holds it above her head." Um, and she said, "I couldn't lift my arms because of the armor." She goes, "I couldn't lift my arms, so I had to ask, what's a cool way to hold it to like be like, I got it." It's listen, it's very cool. I like watching the little side stuff on social media talk about this kind of stuff, which again is going to be taken away by Congress if we let them. Just saying. But yeah, hey, here's a crazy thought. What if Congress decides that watching Star Wars is just a little too political and they want to stop us from watching that? What if, like, you know what? Disney Plus is just getting way more attention than they need. We should stop them from watching this. We need to have a say in what they say. We can't let them talk about an uprising. How are they trying to make the Palpatine character kind of look like our president? We need to stop them. I'm just saying, we're not far away from going towards something like that, just to bring it full circle. So stay tuned to Mandalorian. We have 2 weeks left, 2 episodes left. Dave Filoni apparently is having a huge part in the next 2 episodes because it's involving characters that he created. I think it's specifically going to be possibly Cad Bane and Ahsoka, but maybe just Ahsoka. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I know that there's been imagery on a conference somewhere talking about the Star Wars stuff that's coming up, where it shows a live action Ahsoka trailer, and that is available online, which again could be taken away by Congress if they decide that they don't know what the internet is and doesn't want you to see things they don't want you to see. Just another thing to think about. Maybe the Dutch are onto something. Maybe the French are onto something. I'm just saying, somewhere in there, somewhere in there, there's going to have to be a moment where we say something, where we do something. Could it be through the internet? Not if they have any say in it. Just a thought. So yeah, just to wrap this full circle, thanks again to everybody who listens and who lets me know that they're listening. I appreciate it. There's often times where I consider whether or not anybody's listening. I'm almost to 100,000 views. This is incredible. I mean, who would have thought just little old me here in Florence, South Carolina, piecing this together a little at a time, that it would reach that many people. So thank you. I appreciate it. Um, who knows? Who knows what it could turn into? What I could be banned for? Who knows? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Tune in again next time, and I'll talk about more things that are going on in the world. And hopefully, it won't be so negative. Hopefully, there'll be some more to be optimistic about. I hope. So, thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.